Is it working? I think we might be live. I think it might have actually worked. We're live on YouTube. Oh my goodness. But we are not live on Facebook. What in the world? Now we are. I think we're live on both. Oh my god, we're trying new things. We're trying new things live. And we never know what's going to happen. It's beautiful. Just double check everything. You guys bear with us for in case people are actually watching us right now. I doubt that's the case. But just in case. It'll be a whole case of worms that will open up. I'm really honestly just seeing how many times I can say the word case. Hey, we're officially live on Facebook. All right, I see that. There are 3 people watching us. Beautiful. Love it. Love you people. You're all wonderful. And we are officially live on YouTube. I don't know how good the quality is on the feed, but hell, I know we're live, so that's all good. All right. Let's get this show on the road in a sec. We're trying new things tonight, people, so you're just going to have to deal with it. What was that noise? My computer's making noises at me, and I'm singing tweedle-deedle-dee-dee. Do you think they'll like it if I sing to them? All right, let's start this bitch. Shut up, Stefan. I mean, in a second, once the music decides to play. This is just a... Shh. Welcome into the Nerded Up Podcast. I am Josh Beard, at Josh Beard Radio on Twitter, joined as always by my friend, my pal, my little bearded dwarven partner. He's not really that much smaller than me. He's like an inch shorter than me. Whatever, shut the fuck up. Stefan Mazzone, at Masons on Twitter. We are the Nerded Up Podcast. You can find us on Facebook.com/NerdedUpPod. You can find us at NerdedUpPod on Twitter. And as always, we are broadcasting on Phantom, Facebook's only live sports network. Go to WatchPhantom.com and you can read a lot of great sports content up on that website. There's some guy that's in charge of that site that's just doing a phenomenal job of helping him and his writers create things. He may or may not be a friend of ours, me. But go to watchphantom.com, check out all the great content on there. And, of course, as always, check out Phantom and all of the content that's up on the Phantom page. We're a nerd podcast, and they were the first people that let us kind of build our show and do all of our nerd stuff in front of a larger audience. So thank you very much for all that. You could also go check out the Total Bro. TheTotalBro.com is also a website where we shit on movies and video games, essentially. Essentially, the only thing I do on the Total Bro with our other cohort, Carrie, who's not here again for the 3rd episode in a row. I don't know where he is. He's decided to leave us. And he's no longer a part of the show for the next 2.5 months. But you go to thetotalbro.com and read all the negative reviews that Carrie and I give everything. Essentially, every article is me pumping up Fortnite and how amazing it is and just shitting all over PUBG. That's like the only thing I write on that website now. Anyway, that's enough branding. Hey, welcome to the show. We're not doing nerdy-ass news tonight because there's only one thing that matters in tonight's show, and that's our Black Panther review. I don't know if it's really a review as much as it is just like us talking about our thoughts on the movie. So it's not really reviewy. Right, but it's not a review though. It's more like we saw the movie and we have thoughts and feelings after the fact of the movie. It's more like a movie post-movie powwow. Right. Right, that's like the entire thing is just us doing that. Anyway, all right. So, let's start off. Let's start off the show by doing a quick synopsis on the Black Panther. And Stefan, do you want to do the synopsis? Mostly because I don't want to. Yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus. Do you want me to do a synopsis? Lazy. That's the whole synopsis? Where did you find that synopsis at? First of all, A plus on the synopsis reader guy voice. It's a very good job. Well, you know what? I'll give you an A minus because you kind of fucked up the Agent Ross part. But like, I'll give you an A minus because that was a phenomenal effort in that. Where did you find that synopsis at? I wish you wouldn't have said IMDb. I wish you would have just left it at the internet. I just found it on the internet. My favorite internet ever. All right, so I don't know. Let's give first thoughts real fast. First thoughts on like how you felt. No audio on you? Oh, what's happening? Of course we don't. There's no audio on Stefan. No audio on Stefan at all. I blame... Talk. I don't know what's happening now.
Hi, my name is Stefan.
All right. No, so you just said the synopsis while like everybody heard me heavy breathing for like 2 minutes. Hopefully we've got audio on you now. It's not this. Okay, so here's the deal. Let me peel back the curtains real fast. We decided to do something a little different because we kind of want to spruce up our show. All right, and we decided to go to a little bit of a different format. Especially with Carrie gone, we want to try to make things good while he's gone because we want to make it better because we want to show like this show is better without him. And so we try to do new things, and I may or may not in the process have forgotten to turn on my desktop audio. So that's good. So literally not just that, like we kind of have to restart the whole show because I played the show intro song and it was just me dancing for like 30 seconds on that.
It was. I wasn't going to say anything about that, but everyone was commenting that, you know, that they couldn't hear anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Can we just reset? Can y'all just give us like a chance to just like start over completely?
No, we're gone too deep. Gone too deep.
I'm not going to play the song. I just want to reset. The show. Welcome into the Nerded Up podcast. You have audio now. All right, Stefan, synopsis of the Black Panther. Give it to us. Come on. Give us that synopsis guy. There we go.
I'm going to try a synopsis here. That's my Carrie impersonation. After the events of Captain America: Civil War, King T'Challa returns home to the reclusive, technologically advanced African nation of Wakanda to serve as his country's new leader. However, T'Challa soon finds that he's challenged for the throne from the factions within his own country. When two foes conspire to destroy Wakanda, the hero known as Black Panther must team up with CIA agent Everett K. Ross and members of the Dora Milaje Wakanda Special Forces to prevent Wakanda from being dragged down into a world war.
That was even better than the first time. So, like, me chastising you for fucking up on the Agent Ross part is completely pointless because you did it perfectly that time. You're an asshole, and I hate you. All right, so quick thoughts on the movie, I guess. Let's go with that first. Like, what was your initial thought after the movie was over?
I really enjoyed this movie. It was not the end-all be-all superhero movie to me, but it was definitely up there as far as they go. The movie was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, but it was what I was expecting. I wasn't blown away by anything, but it was very much a great movie. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Where would you rank it like amongst all the other Marvel movies? Like where would you put it? Would you put it top 5, top 10, where?
So this is a really hard thing to do now that we're coming out with so many great Marvel movies. Like the list just kind of gets like all mushy somewhere after number 5. But I'd probably say top 10. It probably falls somewhere for me in like the 6 to 8 category.
Okay.
But other than that, like, I'd probably just top 10 in general.
See, for me, I think I'd put it in the top 5 as I like try to share this out and talk at the same time. I'm sure I can pull this off. I can do this. Can I do this? I can't do this.
Multitasking hard.
Multitasking for me is almost impossible. But I put this in the top 5. I wanted to put it in the top 3. You know how I am. Like I'm a victim of the moment every single time. I've got this like recency bias addiction where I just fucking love everything right after it happens. Like everything that happens is either the worst thing that's ever happened or it's the greatest thing that's ever happened immediately after the fact. And I thought this was in the top 3, not number 1. because number one for me, I think, is still Thor Ragnarok. That's the one movie I think I can say I loved so much, and the recency bias doesn't take away from like time doesn't take away from how much I loved it. But I can't put it above the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can't put it above Winter Soldier. So I think this is not Winter Soldier, above Civil War. So I think this is number 4 for me. Maybe I'm a bit of a basic bitch because a lot of people seem to think it was like a standard origin storyline, but I had a lot of fun with it. I thought Chadwick Boseman was pretty good. I thought Michael B. Jordan was pretty good. They both did a phenomenal job, but the supporting cast around them was so great. It made me love this movie even more. And we'll dive into that whenever we talk about the cast and how kind of grading and ranking the cast list whenever we get into that. But I guess first what I want to do is I'd like to go and read some of the reviews, because the crazy part about this movie is that it's actually getting panned. And like some of the reviews, and y'all can follow along while I'm reading those reviews. Okay, so if we go on Metacritic right now, like if we're like, as I'm looking at Metacritic, it's got an 87 Metascore. What does it have on? What is it on Rotten Tomatoes? It says 98, a 97, something like that.
I think it's dropped to a 97. It is still right now the number one. It's dropped to a 96 now.
Okay.
Number one all-time rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, above movies like we're talking like The Third Man with Orson Welles and shit like that. It beats out Citizen Kane as one of the top reviewed movies of all time.
I'm cool. Like if it sticks at a 97, I'm cool with it sticking at a 97. I think it was good enough to deserve that high of a rating. I think 87 on Metacritic is a little low. It's a little ridiculous. And then a 6.8 user score is just fucking stupid. Like I'm sorry, if you rated this anything below a 7, like a 7, if you rated it a 7, you're not an asshole, but you're damn close. Anything below a 7 is unacceptable. I have a feeling you'd rate it about like 7.5, 8, correct?
Probably an 8. An 8 to an 8.5 would be fair.
See, and that's like I do an 8.5 to a 9 for this, and I think that's what it is. If you go look on other stuff, it's like right around that 9 range. And like I think if Carrie were on the show, I'm gonna do I'm not gonna do a Carrie impersonation because like that's all I have to do is just speak lazy, but. I think Carrie would rate it probably around an 8. I think he enjoyed it. I think he had a good time. He just had issues with some of the fight scenes and stuff like that. I think that was his biggest problem. But, like a 6.8 is unacceptable. That's just fucking stupid. And let's go to some of these reviews right here and let's just talk major shit. Definitely Maybe, which if this guy made his name based a guy or girl, sorry, we're inclusive. If this guy or girl made their name Definitely Maybe like based off of the movie, then they don't deserve to review a superhero movie like Black Panther. But it said mediocre film with terrible pacing and worst CGI, the worst CGI in Marvel's history. It said and worst CGI in Marvel's history. God damn, you're a moron. The main villain is a racist serial killer who wants to kill all white people, which is incredibly racist. What? I don't necessarily think he wants to kill all white people. He wants to kill all people in power who have oppressed people who don't have power. The term colonizer gets put up a lot despite the film narrative having nothing to do with colonization. It's a delusional fantasy told to please a certain narrative. Film is also super cliche and has some awful action scenes. Female characters are good, but that's because the 2 male leads are awful. Well, Definitely Maybe you, sir, are a fucking idiot. The only thing that he said that's useful is said female characters are good, which is horribly understated because the female characters were great. Let's move on to another one. Regardless, whatever. Black Panther for me was largely a disappointment. They have built a promising world here that is being overshadowed by familiar plot lines, a few average performances, inconsistent fight coordination, and poor pacing. I found Black Panther largely very confusing and boring, and that's a shame. I shouldn't be as bored as I was during a Marvel movie. There just wasn't enough to keep me engaged throughout the entire film. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Was there enough to keep us engaged throughout the entire film?
No, there was a little part where the movie kind of like meandered and lagged. I'd probably say within like the first hour after we do the big, one of the big first like set piece fight scenes. There's a little bit where the movie kind of slows down a little bit, but that's to be expected in these origin stories. I got one here if you want to hear it.
Go ahead, read it.
We got Magnolia Fan on moviepoopshoot.com. This movie is fucking clown shoes.
Why? This
No, not it's a quote from another movie. You're good. Don't worry about it.
No, I know. I just like, why would you use that quote to try to describe this movie and review this movie? It was not clown shoes.
Well,
this movie was amazing.
That's usually when you get these super low reviews like this. A lot of these reviews aren't really indicative of the movie as much as it is just people being general internet trolls or being assholes to be assholes. That's the problem with a lot of these fan sourced movie reviews, is that anyone can put their opinion in, and it might not necessarily be worthwhile to read.
Right. I honestly, I think that's the biggest issue and why this movie is getting panned. It's a bunch of just assholes that just want to be assholes for no reason. I keep shaking my camera because I can't get my damn forearms off of my table. But yeah, it's just a bunch of assholes that just want to continue to be assholes no matter what, and that's why it gets these shitty reviews. Moving on to another one. The message of this film couldn't be any more current, important, and clear. This is probably why critics like this film so much, but it is a film in 2018. I felt it needed better acting skills from most of the cast, better directing, better special effects, better fight scenes, and better writing to get above an 80 Metascore. I had no problem with the CGI. I don't know what everybody's talking about, why everybody's saying the CGI was bad. I thought the CGI was fine. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. The fight scenes, maybe they're not the best fight scenes in the fucking world, but like you said, it's a Marvel film. If you're expecting like the most complex and insane coordination, like fight coordination in the world, then you're coming to the wrong movies to see that. What Marvel movie has had just like through the roof, outlandish, ridiculously amazing fight coordination? The only one that I could think of is the first Avengers movie when they did some of the team up fighting.
There's actually some really good fight scene coordination within this movie, specifically in the early casino scene. They do a long pan shot where they have multiple fights going on multiple floors, and it's a great choreographed scene. But the problem there is that most of the good choreography goes towards the Netflix TV shows, because they don't have the budget to do things as like large special effects where these superheroes have more just normal punchy powers and not explodey powers like on the CG movies.
Oh, that's beautiful. I thought the casino scene was great though. Like that's the scene that made me fall in love with Danny Gurira. I might be saying her name wrong. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Michonne from The Walking Dead. Like that scene with her was just fucking awesome. I thought it was really good. Okay, so let's move on from some of the reviews and let's kind of dive into the cast. All right, so let's talk about like how we thought this cast did, because all I keep seeing is it's just people shitting on Michael B. or on Chadwick Boseman and some on Michael B. Jordan. I think everybody, for the most part, the consensus is that the female and the supporting cast and the female cast members were either, like, from the shitty reviewers, they were good, all the way to they were amazing and stole the show for like good reviews. That's kind of where I lean. But like that one guy that I thought needed a little bit more screen time was Sterling K. Brown, but I'm a huge This Is Us nerd, and so obviously I wanted to see Randall a little bit more, but he's the one who played in Jobu, which was T'Chaka's brother and T'Challa's uncle. So how do we think the cast did overall? Like I think they were pretty good. I thought Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan did a good job. I like seeing. I thought there was a palpable relationship between the two of them once Chadwick Boseman found out that Michael. By the way, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet, spoilers.
Well, I think we could go about this with kind of a spoiler-free tell later. We could kind of just...
Once Chadwick Boseman, once T'Challa found out the lineage and who Eric Killmonger was exactly, there was a good amount of tension between the two characters. There was a palpable feel between the two of them. I can figure out how to. How do you think the cast did overall?
I think this is one of the best casts that Marvel has done in one of these origin movies. Normally, I can't say the team-up movies because the team-up movies have just so much raw talent on screen.
Right.
But for an origin movie, the supporting cast in this is fantastic. Probably one of the best supporting casts in a Marvel movie so far. Mm-hmm. To me, they outshine Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. But I think that's just the sort of Chadwick Boseman is an amazing actor.
Yes,
he's very good at taking on roles, and he's great about changing his voice too. He sounds very different character to character. The supporting cast kind of outshines him mainly just because he's so stoic in this. He's very reserved. He's very quiet. He's very kingly, which is perfect for the role. But it allows all the other characters to just take up more screen than he does. Like they have great personalities. The interactions are amazing between all the casts. If there was ever a movie that had no questions about passing the Bechdel test, Bechdel, if you will, this movie has it in spades. This thing just beats it out.
I want to look at Chadwick Boseman's IMDb page real fast, and like Michael B. Jordan's, I'm gonna pull it up, but I could pretty much tell you all the shit that he's been in that I've liked. I mean, the first time I saw him, because I haven't watched I just started watching The Wire, like not just recently, and I know that's kind of the first place that everybody found him. But the first time I saw him was watching Parenthood on NBC, because yes, I am a married suburban male who is forced to watch certain shows. So yes, Parenthood and This Is Us might be the type of variety show that I watch every once in a while. You guys leave me alone. That's the first place I saw him, and I thought he was phenomenal in that. And then just ever since then, he's just made it to shows and movies where he's been great. Obviously, he was just fucking great in Creed as Adonis Creed. And I thought he was really good as Killmonger in this. But like Chadwick Boseman, he kind of relatively came out of left field, right? Like I can't think of anything that he was in before I saw him as T'Challa, as the Black Panther. There's Gods of Egypt. There's 42. Okay, I saw him in 42. But like you look at some of these other things, there was a lot of TV shows. Persons Unknown, Lie to Me. I probably should remember from Lie to Me because that's one of my favorite shows of all time. But other than like 42, that might be the first time I ever saw him. And then seeing him as the Black Panther in Captain America: Civil War, he just kind of came out of left field, and I think he's a great actor. I don't think he's anything that we haven't seen before. Like he's not like all-time actor, but he's very, very good at playing the roles that he plays. And I think he's really good T'Challa. I want somebody like, we talked about this before, where the Black Panther is like a really cool character for us because he's not like that super generic leader like Captain America is, but he's not like the super flippant, ridiculous Tony Stark Iron Man. Like Black Panther's something different. He's kind of like the badass leader. He's got a little bit of both of those guys in him. And I think Chadwick Boseman does a great job of playing that role and playing that part. I was watching an interview with him last night, with my wife and kids, who they haven't seen the movie yet. But he was doing an interview talking about the impact of the movie and how like he didn't really understand how impactful this movie was until he was in communication with two young boys that had terminal cancer, and they said that they were just trying to hang on so they could see this movie. And then when they passed before the movie came out, he finally realized the impact that this movie had. But when we're watching the interview, like I'm just sitting there watching it and like I'm choking up because he gets super emotional, and I have like I'm really, really emotional. I'm a very emotional man. Okay, I don't fit your perfect manly man bill all the time. I like a good cry every once in a while. It's very cathartic for me. And so I'm tearing up, and he's telling this really sad story, and my wife, just in the middle of it, she goes, "Huh, he's not British?" I'm like, "What's wrong with you, woman? Do you have no feeling? That's what you're worried about right now? You're not listening to a story about two boys that just wanted to wait. They wanted to stay alive until Black Panther came out. But the whole time, you're not listening to this thing. You're not listening to a story. You're just wondering, like, why in the hell is he not British?" And so he's played British parts before. He does the Wakandan accent, and he does the Wakandan language. And then he's American, which is phenomenal. He does a great job with accents, and I think he's a really, really good actor. So the two main roles I thought were way better than a lot of people gave them credit for. But if we're going into the meat of the film, it was the supporting cast that really stole it. And by supporting cast, I really mainly only mean Danny Gurira and Lupita Nyong'o and Letitia Wright. those three, which Letitia Wright played Shuri, which is T'Challa's sister, and then Danny Gurira played Okoye, and then Lupita Nyong'o played Nakia. And I thought those three they were the best part about the movie to me. They had great lines, they had great characters, great character development. Danny Gurira, like anything that she's in, I'll watch hands down from now on. Between Michonne on The Walking Dead and playing Okoye and Black Panther, she has completely sold me on anything that she's in. She's going to be good at, and I thought she had some of the best scenes in the movie and some of the best fight choreography in the movie. Like, she was a badass. And I like kind of the, I guard the throne. But now I'm going to fight for what I believe in, because like she had this like internal struggle and then made a decision. I thought it was actually one of the most impactful stories, one of the more impactful stories throughout the movie. So I thought it was really cool. The supporting cast is phenomenal in this.
I'd extend it even more. I think Freeman and Andy Serkis did fantastic jobs in their roles. Andy Serkis, as always, an amazing villain, just perfect, and he brings a little levity. M'Baku, played by Winston Duke, was another supporting character that I wanted more screen time. He was fantastic. There's just so much on this cast that everyone was just amazing. Even T'Challa's mom, Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett.
And Angela Bassett, she's a phenomenal actress. Like she's been good in a lot of the stuff that she's in. I know she's in that new show right now, 911. What else has she been in?
But she's been in everything. It's Angela Bassett.
She hasn't been in everything. She's
probably
great. She's great in American Horror Story. I'm trying to think of like older movies that she's been in. I don't know. Like, hey, look at the list. She was Mr. Smith's boss in Mr. and Mrs. Smith as an uncredited voice. Interesting.
See, she's in everything.
Yeah, she is. She's Mildred in Meet the Robinsons. That's a good movie. Okay, yeah, okay. Angela Bassett's in everything. You win. You win this fight. I thought she was absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't think there was a bad actor in this movie, and there wasn't a bad role in this movie. Every character was well written. I thought Daniel Kaluuya as W'Kabi was really good for the role that he played. He kind of got in this like internal struggle. Do I back Killmonger? Do I back T'Challa? I don't know what to do. What's the best for Wakanda? It's like every other than T'Challa and Killmonger, you had your perfect good and your well, not quite perfect bad, but we'll say perfect bad for the purposes. And they did a great job of giving everybody a gray area. Like, everybody along, if you're saying like that T'Challa and the Black Panther are here on the good side and Eric Killmonger's here on the bad side, everybody kind of fit along this like gray line of between good and bad. And I love seeing that. Not everybody was perfectly in line with T'Challa except for Nakia. Not everybody was perfectly in line with Killmonger at all, except for kind of W'Kabi at the end. But you saw more of like a gray area between these guys, and it made for, I think, a better story overall. And that's why I enjoyed it, because you had a lot of characters that were like they had their own thought processes, they had their own reasons for doing things, and it wasn't just like you said with M'Baka. Like he had his reasons for doing things. It wasn't purely because he wanted to help out T'Challa. He also wanted to help out his tribe. Definitely, I agree with you on that. He definitely needed more screen time. Let's rank the cast real fast, and let's do top 5. Like, we'll do our top 5 best characters and actors who portray their characters in the movie. And do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
No, hit it up. Go first.
Okay. For me, number 5 is going to be, I think number 5 for me is going to have to be, oh, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I wasn't ready for this. I'll go Letitia Wright. Just because I thought she was phenomenal as Shuri, but Shuri didn't have enough screen time. So I'm going to go number 5 with her. Then I'm going to go Chadwick Boseman as number 4. And I hate to do that because I really love him and he's a really good character, but the reason he's number 4 is because of the 3 people ahead of him. And number 3, I'm going to go Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. I thought what they did with Killmonger, he pulled it off absolutely perfectly. It's the first time that I've ever watched a villain die and be legitimately sad that we didn't see more from the character. And
Spoilers.
oh, spoilers! Damn! It's the first time I've seen an end happen with some kind of villain and be sad and or happy that what happened to them. Omit everything before. I wish I had a dump button like in radio, but I don't. Okay, moving on from that, I fucked that one up. Number 2 for me is gonna be Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia. I thought she was great. She is fairly attractive and nice to look at. I'm not gonna go any further, so I don't get myself in trouble with my wife for saying that. But she's a great actress. She played her part perfectly. She had some great fight scenes. The car chase scene, like, I thought whenever the car got blown up and she's just like skidding along in the chair and she's just kind of got this straight face as the car seats skidding along the ground, I thought was hilarious. So I thought she did a phenomenal job. And then number 1 for me was Danny Guerrera. I thought she did a great job with Okoye. I thought she had some really funny lines. I thought she had some really good parts. I thought she had the best fight choreography out of everybody, and maybe possibly had the best character development and kind of side story, understated side story from anybody else. So that's my 5. I got to go Letitia Wright, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and Danny Guerrera.
So for me, I'd have to go with my number 5 being Andy Serkis. Every time he's on screen, he's just fantastic. He plays his role so well and brings like such a terrible comic character to the screen in such a light that I'm like, I want to see more of Claw.
That's fair, yeah.
He's just great in every role he plays. For number 4, for me, it's going to be tied for 2 people that didn't have much screen time. Winston Duke as M'Baku. Fantastic when he just his challenge to T'Challa and how he shows up later on in the movie was great. Tied with Forrest Whitaker for Zuri. I mean, it's Forrest Whitaker. He plays Forrest Whitaker in pretty much every movie, but it's so enjoyable just watching Forrest Whitaker do his thing.
Right.
That like he's just great. For 3, I'm gonna go probably with Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. Interesting take on the role. The dichotomy that he brings to the rest of the cast, where like the whole cast is very steeped in African culture, and then you have this kid who grew up in Oakland, California, and joins like the military and MIT and everything, and just seeing him, like his interaction with all the other characters was just fantastic.
Yeah.
That was like 3, right? So for 2, probably Lupita Nyong'o. I liked her, but I feel like she was really great in her role, but she was being overshadowed by my number 1, also Danny Guerrera.
Yeah.
As Okoye. She was fantastic in everything. Very, very forceful. Like, she came across as very strong, but you could tell like the inner turmoil and some of the decisions she had to make. And she felt like a general. She plays the general of the Wakandan army, and she felt very like warrior general, but caring and steeped in tradition. It was just fantastic in the role.
She might have been, and obviously it's not your traditional general from what you see from like an American film. Like usually you see the guy in the military garb, and he's bomb them all. Like that's the general that you see usually in movies. But what you normally get and what you really get from a general is more like Danny Guerrera, where it's like she's got the traditions. She has the spectacle. She has to play. She has this position of power that she has to do. Like she has to perform her duty the right way. But she like at the end she's still a human. Like she may guard the throne, but that may not be what she wants to guard. She's gonna fight with those demons. She's going to try to, like, she wants to go do something and she wants to take action, but at the same time, she has to be smart. She's going to care about people. And so it was one of the best portrayals of a military general in almost any movie I've ever seen before, because it's not this gruff, unmoving stone of a character where it was a legitimate human being trying to make decisions about people's lives and what to do. I thought it was great. That's why I loved her. Our lists are very close, except for numbers 5 and 4.
Yes.
I like Andy Serkis. I did like Andy Serkis. I don't know. There wasn't enough of him in the movie. That was my problem. I can't rank him based off of I wish I would have seen him more, and that's why I couldn't rank. This is a really hard one to rank. Maybe we should have done top 15. top
No, it's terrible.
Top 22 cast members from the Black Panther. Rank them all. Because I love Sterling. I love Sterling K. Brown too. I thought he did a really good job of as N'Jobu. Like anytime I see him on any screen. So when I watch him on This Is Us or whenever I saw him there, like he always has this like serious teary-eyed look that just makes you go, oh, this is a very, very serious, poignant moment right now. 1,000% because of Sterling K. Brown's eyes. I don't know why I couldn't say his name right there. That was terrible. So I guess now, do you want to talk about the end credit scene, the post credit scene? Because that intrigues me. I didn't know much about Black Panther going into this. I'll be completely honest. Like my comic knowledge is limited at best, at least when it comes to being like a nerd that talks about nerd stuff on a nerd podcast. And so I didn't know much about Black Panther, but when I saw Bucky, I don't give a shit about this spoiler. Spoiler, whatever, I don't care. The end credit scene has Bucky. Boom, he doesn't have an arm still. But when I saw Bucky in the post credit scene talking to it was Shuri, right? Was that yeah, okay. Whenever I saw them talking, like I don't know the context for that and like what that's going to try to be. So what is the post credit scene of seeing Bucky in a small village in Wakanda? What does that mean?
So, we left him at the end of Civil War in Black Panther's lab, being all healed up. Him being awake now just kind of confirms everything that we already knew was going to happen from any of the Civil War trailers. Mm-hmm. If you've been paying attention to anything, that he's back and he's ready to fight. Him being awake means that Shuri has deprogrammed him. So there's no more left of the Russian programming that he was dealing with, and he's clean and ready to start fighting. Interesting.
I didn't even think about that because like since she is the smartest person in the Marvel universe, obviously she has the best technology out of everybody in the universe. Like obviously she would be able to reprogram him. I didn't even think about that. Like that was an option. I thought, oh shit, they're harboring Bucky, but what if he turns back into the Winter Soldier all of a sudden? But I guess if that's not an option anymore, that's awesome. I just want to see more. Like, what's the backstory between him being there? You said something about the White Wolf, and that's what they called him.
So the kids, after they wake up and like mess with him a little bit, they call him the White Wolf, which is another character in the Black Panther universe. Another white character. It is T'Challa's adopted brother. King T'Chaka adopts a young boy who crash lands. His family dies, and they take him in, and he raises him as T'Challa's brother. In the comics, when T'Challa takes over the throne of Wakanda and becomes the Black Panther, his brother, White Wolf, gets angry and tries to kill T'Challa and take over the throne, as he believes he should be the rightful ruler of Wakanda. So they actually co-opted a lot of White Wolf's storyline for Killmonger in this, so to give them like just a different aspect. But the interesting thing about them calling Bucky White Wolf is that White Wolf later on becomes an ally to Black Panther and is leader of Wakanda's spies and war dogs. Okay. So we might be giving that role now to Bucky as like a general in Wakanda's army, or just like a leader of the secret police.
I would like that. I think that'd be really cool. It kind of sucks that they stole some of that storyline to add it to Killmonger, but obviously they can come up with something else and figure out something else with him. If he does that, so like, I guess maybe let's talk about moving forward with the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline and what we're going to see with Infinity War. Like, I know at some point people are thinking that Bucky becomes Captain America, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened in the comics. It's right. We've got a lot of foreshadowing through all the movies of him picking up the shield. At least I want to say it's like 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
So I'm wondering like how it's going to tie him with him helping Wakanda, but then if he becomes Captain America. But I guess that's not a big deal if the theory that you've got, and I think a lot of other people have that I'm starting to subscribe to, is that if Iron Man does die in Infinity War, Black Panther becomes the leader of the Avengers, and then that would make sense for Bucky to take over the Captain America thing, and the two of them kind of work together, which is funny and interesting, seeing as how like they he in Civil War he absolutely hated Bucky. But I'm just trying to figure out how these characters, what's going to happen with these characters moving forward now after Black Panther. Like, what's our next film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is that Infinity War?
Our next film is Infinity War, and after that is Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay, I found it right here. Ant-Man and Wasp, and then we've got Captain Marvel, and then another untitled Avengers film, which in 2019, we know what that title is. It's fucking Infinity War Part 2 or whatever.
It's got a different name, actually.
Oh, it's going to have a different one?
Yeah, they decided against the Part 1 and Part 2. So it could be some other allusion to another comic, or maybe a spoiler for a character we don't know about.
Okay, so we know the Avengers film is coming in 2019. Then future films, we've got another Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, and then another Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I want to see another Black Panther. Like, that needs to be, if they want to keep pushing the MCU like forward and keep it going after Infinity War, they definitely need to make Black Panther, I think, the forefront of that push. Iron Man's been there since the very beginning. Like, that's phase 1, first movie. It's Iron Man and Tony Stark. If you're gonna push forward and move away from that, I think the most popular person to be that guy should, and the most likely guy to be that person should be Black Panther moving forward. I don't know what you think.
No, I agree. And in multiple incarnations of the Avengers, Black Panther has led the team. Mm-hmm. In the comics, he is a master strategist. He has done many things to help the group. The other thing is that what he brings to the Avenger is new technology. Mm-hmm. We've seen some of that in the Infinity War trailer with Iron Man's suit seemingly made out of vibranium, and it kind of forms on him the same way all the tech in this movie, with like where it looks like it's made out of sand and kind of like appears. We've seen some of that in the trailers. So not only does he bring great leadership, which he clearly has in spades, he brings new tech to the team, which is interesting to like bring out more powers and more capabilities for people. Like, can you imagine Hawkeye with vibranium arrows?
That would be awesome. That'd be amazing. I'm trying to think. The Hulk with vibranium armor.
I mean, we've gotten a little bit of that before.
But there's rumors that in Infinity War that Hulk's got an Iron Man Hulk suit. Like an Iron Hulk suit. Or I saw rumors about it the other day. We'll have to look into it. Let me Google it real fast. People can see me Googling things. Let's do this. Hulk Iron Man suit. Not the Hulkbuster. It's going to come up with Hulkbuster. God damn it.
It's going to come up with Hulkbuster.
Yeah. Stupid. Stupid idea, Josh. That was a dumb idea, and I hate you for it. If we could come up like that, let's come up with other weapons and other things that he could bring to all of the other Avengers. That'd be cool. Ant-Man and Wasp suits being made out of vibranium would be freaking awesome. The Ant-Man and Wasp trailer before the movie, I don't know if they showed at your theater, but I thought that was great. I'm excited about that. But that's after Infinity War, I think. Anyway, all right, final thoughts on Black Panther. Any?
Fantastic movie. I definitely recommend going to see it. Just don't expect more than a Marvel movie. It is, in its core, a Marvel origin story. Historically, for each franchise, and by franchise I mean individually, like Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, they tend to be the weakest, which is fantastic when you think about how great this movie actually was. Mm-hmm. I want to see the future Black Panther movies and where they take these characters, because now that they've set the field, there's so much that they can do.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think the good thing is, like, I didn't go in expecting more than a Marvel movie, and so that's why I was incredibly I almost said incredibly disappointed. That's why I was blown away by it. And another thing was, I didn't go in with a bunch of speculation, and I didn't watch too much. I watched each trailer like one time, unless they like force fed it down my throat during commercials on TV or some crap like that. But I didn't go in and read a bunch of stuff about the characters like I do with every other Marvel movie. And so I just took what they gave me, and I loved it. And I thought it's definitely top 5 for me. My top 5, my top 10 of these Marvel films fluctuates all the time. Right now it's at 4. That could change based off of other factors or seeing a movie again. But I think after people see this a second and a third time, after all the speculation and bullshit goes away, they're going to appreciate it just a little bit more. Once they're resigned to the fact, hey, this is just another Marvel film, okay, this was a pretty damn good Marvel film, I like it a little bit more than I did before. I really honestly think people will, but the ratings that it's gotten so far by the smart people, I think they're very well deserved. Anyway, we are the Nerded Up Podcast. We were broadcasting on Phantom, Facebook's only live sports network, and on our YouTube channel. Oh my God, the first time. Nobody probably watched it on there. Nobody likes us. Anyway, you can go find us on Facebook.com/NerdedUpPod. You can find us at NerdedUpPod on Twitter. You can also find us on the Total Bro. There's lots of good content up there that you can read about me loving Fortnite and Carrie hating everything else in the world. There's actually Carrie's review on the Black Panther. If you go to the TotalBro.com, is actually pretty good. I just disagree with him vehemently on many things that he says, but it's a good review, even though Stefan didn't like it before he even saw the movie. But you can go to watchphantom.com, read a bunch of great sports articles, go check out Phantom, all the great sports content that they like. We will be back next Monday right at 9 o'clock, not at 9:30. We will be back next Monday at